What is going on, my lifers? What is going on? It's good to see everybody coming into the chat already. What's going on, 1111-007? My boy MKT is in the building. It's good to see you, my brother. We'll wait a few minutes, let everybody get in here. We're gonna let everybody get in here. Hopefully everybody is having a great day. It's been a pretty good day here in Nashville. Been a sunny, wonderful day. 1111-007 says, MKT, ready for your story? Always ready for a good story. What's going on, Willow B? Good to see you in here. Get on in here, guys. Get on in here. Get on in this building. Get on in this building, guys. What's going on, Daniel Brown? What's going on, Gail Miller? Appreciate your comment on YouTube today. No, Gail, it's not almost over. It just started. It just started. You got here just as it has begun. What's going on, Red Boy? Good to see you in here. Come on in the building, guys. Fall on in here. That's what's up, guys. I appreciate you guys' support as always. As always. Bubba Jubba. Hi from Australia. We got some Australian people in the building. That's what's up, man. Thank you for joining the show tonight, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, BJ. Big Bubba Jubba. It has been a great day. I got a lot of things done. Been out running around in the sun. Beautiful day here in Nashville today. Coming off the heels of a pretty interesting show last night. What's going on, KB? Had my boy Todd here last night on the Majority Report. It was a very, very interesting conversation. What's going on, Black Top 9000? From Cali. Good to see you in here, my brother or sister. I'm not sure. Gail Miller says good. Okay, what are we talking about? Come on, Gail. You can. It's on the title. It says, the title says, if you could say one last thing to family and friends shunning you, what would it be? What would your final message to them be? That's what we are talking about today. It will be a call-in show. If anyone wants to call in and share their story of what they have said or what they would want to say to their family and friends, this is going to be a good session for us to clear some air. What's up, Alicia Schaefer? Hello to you. Good to see you in the building. Good to see you here. Everybody's falling in here. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I appreciate you guys so much. Yesterday's show was pretty interesting, man. I enjoyed talking to my boy Todd. It literally took me about 12 hours to get my place set up for that show yesterday because I've never had anybody actually here. I usually do it over Google Hangouts, but I wanted to do something a little different. And I still need to get a few things as far as equipment so that I can do that regularly and it be right. There was some echoing going on because I didn't have the right equipment to do that. But I tried as best as I could. I pulled it off. It still worked a little bit. Appreciative of Todd for coming out and talking with us. Todd has a lot of knowledge. He's a very knowledgeable brother. Um, I appreciated it. What's going on, my mango bango? Good to see you. Good to see you in the chat, brother. What's going on, Aramis? Good to see you as always. Good to see you in the chat. Yeah, I had a very interesting dream last night that kind of prompted this title. I didn't know what I was going to talk about today, but this is going to be I think this will be a good show. It'll be a lot of people who can come on and talk and clear the air. Maybe say something that somebody else will be inspired by. Gail says, I told you this was already playing when I came on there. And what is title? And there still isn't. Thank you for telling me. Gail, are you watching this on your phone or on your laptop? If you're watching on your phone, if you have your phone in landscape mode, you won't be able to see anything other than the video. But if you put the phone in portrait mode, it will show you what the title is. Or if you're on your laptop and you have it in full screen mode, you won't be able to see it. But if you exit full screen mode, you'll be able to see the title of the video. But either way, I'm fine with that. I don't mind telling you what the title is. I don't mind at all. I'm just glad to see you in here. Aramis says, how's planning for the meetup going so far, bro? It's going well. I'm looking at a couple of places. I haven't shown anything yet because I don't have anything kind of finalized. I have a couple of places that I'm thinking may be dope for it. One of the places is actually a place that that the Kingdom Hall hosted a memorial at when I was little. So that place may be very interesting, but I'm trying to find a place that's kind of open, a place that's kind of fun too, but those places are very expensive. So I'm trying to find a place that will allow everybody to have some comfortable seating, maybe a place that the people that I have who are going to speak can be a little bit elevated, and it will allow everybody to see and hear very well. So give me a few days and I'll present some options to everybody. I appreciate you questioning, brother. Totally going down. It's going to be right around my birthday, and a lot of things are going to be happening right around my birthday. I don't know if you guys have been watching my channel, but I told you all how, well, I'm pretty sure most of the people here have been watching my channel and have heard my story about how my ex-wife, soon to be, didn't sign our divorce papers 13 years ago, and I had to wait for my daughter to move out before I could finalize everything. Well, it looks like, ironically, the date where everything will be final is going to be August 20th, which is my birthday. So while I'm glad that everything will be finalized, it's kind of a bitter thing for me because even though it was something that was necessary, I will never celebrate the ending of a black family. There are so few, well, I won't say few, but there are a lot of black families that have broken up due to divorce and have separated separated families and things like that. So while it was something that was necessary, as I like to say, it's not something that I will ever celebrate. It's not something that I will ever be happy about, because there were some negative effects for my daughter, and it wasn't pleasant, and having to do it all over again is not pleasant. And I lost a lot of things because of it. So that's not pleasant either. So it's not something that I'll ever celebrate, but it's something that happened. And we are going to move forward. because that's all we can do in life. All we can do is move forward. So we're going to keep moving forward. What's going on, Nikki T? What is going on, Nikki T? Good to see you in the chat. Fall on in here, everybody. Go ahead and fall up in this joint. It's gonna be a really good conversation tonight, man. I think this is gonna be a cool time. What's going on, Exclusive Princess? Good to see you in the chat as always. As always. Yeah, Gail Miller left a really good reply on one of my YouTube videos today. So it was really good reading that. I went to a hookah bar and actually read her comment while I was sitting there having something to eat today. So I appreciate that comment, Gail. Yeah, really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Went and had to reconfigure my whole home yesterday after that show, so that took a long time. Thank you, Nikki T. I appreciated it, man. Todd and I went to this pizza joint after the show and sat and talked about it, and it was good, man. I think I'm gonna have Todd back, but the next time I have Todd on, we're gonna talk about a specific topic and have him explain just one specific thing and how he came to that, how they come to that specific conclusion. I really enjoyed talking to Todd. We believe a lot of we believe differently, but I respect Todd a lot. I respect anybody that has a belief that they can explain calmly, and even if we disagree, it's done in an amicable way. So I have a lot of respect for Todd, and there are a lot of things that he talks about that even though I've never heard them before, or I may not necessarily believe, I respect because they make you think. MKT, yeah, he did answer your question. He said that he didn't know and that he would research that question that you asked and he would get back to me. So the next time I have him on, we will definitely answer your question. But yeah, I asked him and he definitely said, you know what, I don't know, but I'm going to get that information for you and get back to you. So yeah, he definitely answered. And when he gets a definitive answer, we will totally let you know. Nikki T says, lots of food for thought from Todd's beliefs. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. 100% agree. There's a lot of times when Todd and Todd's a brother I went to Atlanta with that business venture I was telling you guys about. And it was, of course, from here, Atlanta is about a 4-hour drive. So we had a lot of time to talk, and we listened to a bunch of Hebrew Israelite videos, and had some really good conversation. I asked a bunch of questions, and he answered them. Really cool brother, man. He's going through a situation as well with a relationship, and so we were able to really talk about our respective endings, and it's been a crazy time for both of us, man. But it's been a journey for him, and it's been a journey for me as well. As most of you guys know, I'm pretty open about everything that I'm going through. I don't have a problem sharing, and so we have been able to really help each other out through a lot of the things that we're going through. Yeah, Aramis, I respect that he's looking for truth as well. And I think, sorry guys, it's a little warm in my joint. I refuse to cut the air conditioner on in here until it gets a certain temperature, because that junk is high. Daniel Brown says, cool dude, but he couldn't tell us who their founder was. Well, Daniel, while I understand why you say that, I don't know if that is necessarily a deal breaker for me to understand his belief system. There's not too much that Todd talks about in his belief system that I completely disagree with. I mean, even with the JWs, Scientology, Christianity, a lot of those religions, we know who their founder was and still completely disagree with them. I don't think knowledge of their founder is paramount to whether or not you can relate to what that person is saying. Him being his religion being something that's really trying to help, and it's not even a religion, and that's one thing we talked about while we were eating last night. It's not a religion, and which is something that he says is definitive in separating what he believes from a lot of the other belief systems, is that their belief system is not a religion. It's just, according to them, it's just facts, and it's the way that they live. So it's with their belief system being something that is genuinely made to empower, as he says, so-called black people, and help them get out of the situation, help us get out of the situation that we are in, and focus on that. There is no other belief system that I know of that is, based on the Bible, besides, the NOI, that is really focused on the plight and the struggle of black people. And as a black man, I can do nothing but respect that. So regardless of who their founder is, with him being able to explain so eloquently their belief system, I can do nothing but respect that. Black Top 9000 says, my 2 cents, it's okay to celebrate that you both recognize it wasn't meant to be. Actions over time together that were negative for your daughter. It's better for your daughter to see mom and dad happy. Correct. I just won't ever. A lot of people have been like, oh yes, you should celebrate. It's a whole new start for you. It's a whole new thing. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to celebrate that. I just can't bring myself to do that. Nikki T says, I experienced that same thing where I felt uncomfortable around my own kin, especially in the work environment. It happens, especially in a system where we're programmed to feel that way. Gail Miller says, okay, so my family already shuns me. So what are you doing that situation? I'm not sure I understand what you're saying, Gail. If you could clarify that. MKT says, you're a good man, Keith. Good dialogue with you this morning. Hey, likewise, MKT. I'm looking forward to us doing a collab, brother. I think it's going to be a really cool collaboration, man. We need to get together. We need to talk about when we both have time. Maybe sometime this week, during the show this week, we can do it. KB says, the etymology of the word religion, from the old French to bind, obligation, bond. Exactly. That's what Todd said last night. I just think that it is, we need to get to a point where we can listen to one another without disparaging one another. And even in my videos that I make about the JW religion, I don't get disparaging about them. I just state facts. Which is one of the things that people have said about my videos, is that I don't go off and get angry about it, because there's really no need to get that, emotional when I'm talking about it. I have a lot of emotions about it, of course, and I do get angry within myself sometimes. But when I'm talking about it, you're not going to reach people by being angry and being overly emotional. If you can state a fact, a fact is going to hit harder than emotion. You know, fact, like what's that guy Ben Shapiro says? He says some things I agree with and some things I don't agree with. But one thing that he says that I agree with is facts don't care about your feelings. And if you have facts, you don't have to be in some heightened state of emotion to relay that. The fact is a fact regardless. So I know we had a couple people last night that were being crazy emotional about the conversation, and that's, you know, it's fine for them to be that way, but that doesn't enhance dialogue. It's, if you disagree with somebody, then say, hey, I disagree with you because of this, 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 and this, and then you can open a dialogue, and either that person will understand what you're saying, or you might be able to understand what they're saying and still walk away, but maybe walk away amicably, instead of being in a situation where, you know, I don't want to hear what you're saying, that's bullshit, like the dude was saying last night. I didn't respect that. Daniel Brown says, I made some of your same remarks as well last night in the chat, but I just found that interesting. Yeah, definitely. Nikki T says, I am still figuring out what to tell my brainwashed family. Yeah, that's one of the reasons that we're going to have this conversation tonight. Gail Miller says, I can't say anything to them because I can't get them to talk to me or read anything you write. So what would I say? It's more like, what haven't I said? But it doesn't work for me. But it does not work for me. We're going to talk about that tonight, Gail. Daniel Brown says, I highly respect all movements in the black community trying to clean things up. No doubt. Exactly. Agreed. MKT agrees with Daniel. Aramis says, I would like to do a testimonial collab with you in the near future, Keith, just to show how I've used some of your tips while being homeless to build my credit. I've followed all your steps. Hey, appreciate that, Aramis. One of the companies that I mentioned in my video, Self-Lender, actually placed my video on their website. So it's been helping a lot of people, and I'm going to start my own credit rebuilding service. So if there's anybody here watching now, YouTube emailed me and told me that video hit 100,000 views, and I've been waiting until I set up my website, my email address, and all that stuff. But once YouTube told me that, and that company put my video on their website, they told me that the things that I said in the video are exactly the things that someone who works in credit repair does, and I gave that information away in exactly the same way that they would give somebody that's paying them for that service. So in light of that, I'm going to start my own credit repair service to help people repair their credit. So once I get that all set up, I will either put it on my Instagram and here. So yeah, man, I'm glad that helped. Blacktop 9000 says, this is my first night on. Can you recap last night for those who might have missed it? Last night conversation was with a friend of mine named Todd, who is a Hebrew Israelite. We talked for 2.5 hours, so it would be kind of difficult to recap that entire conversation. But it was basically about how the Hebrew Israelites believe that the Bible and Jesus and a lot of the things that we are taught, one, are wrong, and that the Bible and Jesus are for God's chosen people, and God's chosen people are who we would call so-called black people. And that was the crux, I think, of that conversation, and he made some points to validate why he said what he said. So it's still up. If you want to watch it, go check it out on the channel. It's still there. It's a good video. What's going on, Gypsy Lily? Good to see you. What's going on, Wendy Seeley? Today Forever says, some of my family have shunned me. However, I have shunned some of them, being, I'm assuming she means preemptive. Let me take my power back. Understood. MKT says, I want to know why they are they babies. I'm sorry, why they ate their babies. I heard a conversation on YouTube about that. And that is something that would require some explaining. Miss Bailey, too, good to see you. Peace to you as well, sister. King Dez, what's going on, brother? Good to see you in here. King Dez says that was a great show last night. It was. Thank you, King Dez. Todd really did his thing, and I really appreciated having him on the show. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that show. I really am. I was a little worried about how it was going to come off and if I was going to be able to do the topic justice in that new setup, but it worked out really well. Really well. Nikki T said, I agree. Why get all riled up? This born again lady stormed out when I disagree with her beliefs. So sad. Yeah, man. People are crazy about that. Gypsy Liz says, Keith, you doing all right? You seem down in the dumps, but I could be wrong. No, I'm not down in the dumps per se. I'm a little tired. I didn't go to sleep last night until about 5, and then I had to wake up and reconfigure my entire studio and living room. So I'm a little tired, and I do have some things on my mind. We'll talk about them tonight. But I'm not down in the dumps. I'm just in a bit of a thoughtful mood. But I appreciate you, Gypsy Lily. Thank you for coming through. Gail Miller says, why would somebody tell you to celebrate the loss of your family? I'm sorry, that's weird. You know, Gail, I agree with that. I've seen people, have divorce parties and celebrate things like that, and it's not something to be celebrated. As angry as I am at my ex for doing what she did, especially to separate me from my family and all the things that she's done over the years, ruining relationships, a relationship for me and relationship with almost harming relationships with my daughter and making things financially difficult for me and things like that. At the end of the day, we were a family, and we were a family for 13 years. And the loss of that was very difficult 13 years ago. And having to do it again is kind of like reliving something that was very difficult for me. And in reliving that, I have to also relive all the things that it caused me to lose. And that was a lot, a business, a home, a relationship. There were a lot of things that caused me to lose outside of the family itself. So it's not something that I will ever celebrate. I will never be excited about that. But it happened, and it's happening again. And it's something that I have to deal with. Like I've said before, the only constant in life is change. Things happen, and while we can't always control what happens, all we can do is control how we react to those things. And so, in light of the last few months being very difficult, things are much better now. I have many more good days than I do bad days. If I have, in a week's time, if I have one bad day, I'm going to have 6 good ones. Or in a month's time, if I have, 2 bad days, the rest of the days that month are going to be good days. So while this coming birthday is going to be a little bittersweet, there's nothing I can do about that but move forward and clear things out of my life, clear the clutter of the past out of my life so that I can make room for the goodness to come. So that was one of the reasons for this show tonight, is to try to help myself and other people who are dealing with the things that we're all dealing with, to maybe move some of the clutter out of our spirits. Now, if I look back into the chat, I think Gail was talking about how, what did she say? Gail Miller said, and I can't say anything to them because I can't get them to talk to me or read anything you write. So what would I say? It's more like, what haven't I said? But it does not work for me. All right, let's get this party started. Let's get this party started. Class. Our class is in session. My lifers, we are going to teach each other tonight. We're going to help each other out tonight. We are going to help each other out tonight. What's going on, Michelle M? It's good to see you here live. Nikki T says, K Fitz, glad you're back. I've been going through withdrawal without you for the past 3 weeks. Thank you. Now I did take last week off, because like I've said before, every now and then I have to take a break. And I literally just took a week off from everything. I didn't do anything other than the things I wanted to do this past week. And it was needed. I needed to take a little break. So I'm back. Every now and then, if I disappear, it's because I'm taking a break. But I'll always be back. Now, let's see. Today Forever says, I don't understand celebrating. I don't know with loss there is gain when you understand the takeaway. Interesting comment. Yeah, I don't understand celebrating either. But to address what Gail said, Gail, if I had to say one thing, I would say that when we make these messages to the people who are shunning us, even if they don't listen, it's not necessarily about them hearing it. I have found that sometimes we think things, or I'll say I think things. I'll speak for myself. I think things, and I think them, and I think them, and I think them, and I think them, and I think them. And then I might write something about it. I'll write and write and write and write and write. As a matter of fact, hold on one second. Let me show you guys something. All right. So it's time for a story. It is time for a story. Since I'm talking about writing things, as I told you guys that have been on my channel for a while, and maybe for the new people, I was in a relationship with a woman for about 10 years, almost 10 years. We broke up in December. And recently, last week, I'm someone who journals a lot. So over the course of the last 10 years, when we first got together, I told her I was looking for a journal. I wanted to find something like a gold book to write in. Well, we weren't together at this time. We were just seeing each other. And she is an artist. She's a painter, but she made this gold book that had she went all out for this shit. I will never disrespect her for doing this shit. This shit was fly. Cause she was she told me later she was trying to impress me so that I would be her girlfriend, because I wasn't looking for a girlfriend at this time. Me and my ex-wife had signed the divorce papers. I moved all the way to a Hermitage, which is far away from where my ex-wife lives, like an hour away. I was living my best life. I was getting it in. And so I have a tattoo of a phoenix on my shoulder. So she made this golden book. I don't know exactly how she made it, but it was 2 pieces of covering that she painted gold and put a raised phoenix on the cover. And she put parchment, like a lot of expensive parchment paper, inside this booklet and drilled holes in it and wove paper to bind the book. It was beautiful. It's a beautiful book, beautiful journal. So over the last 10 years, I've written everything in that book. Everything. Well, again, we broke up in December, and we haven't spoken in a few months. But I still had some of the things that she had given me here in my house. Well, a few weeks ago, I decided I needed to get rid of all that stuff. So I have a box that I kept all of the cards she gave me over the years. Literally like 10 years worth of cards. I threw them away. She had left a few personal items here, and I threw those away. I went through my computer, and I literally had gigs of pictures of her and I. Deleted all of those. Went to my Google Drive, tons of pictures, deleted all of those. I had a tree that she gave me, deleted that. I had a really nice watch that she gave me, threw it in the trash. She knows I like cufflinks. She bought me a really nice set of cufflinks, threw those in the trash. Literally went through my house with a fine-tooth comb. And she knows I like to work out. I think she bought me some perfect push-ups, threw those in the trash. She brought me this workout set called The Rack. It's really nice workout. So I freaking love that thing. Threw that away. So I went through my house and I'm thinking, okay, I don't have anything else here that would remind me of her. And basically at this point, our 10-year relationship is nothing more than a memory. I don't have anything physical to remind me of that relationship. MKT says, you ever try resistance bands? I have a full set of resistance bands, and I use them every day. Miss Belly 2 says, that's extreme to get rid of everything. It is not. And I'll tell you why, Miss Bailey. It's not extreme to get rid of everything when one little thing causes you to hold on to everything. So for me, I'm not somebody that can let go of someone really easily. any relationship that I go into is always a long-term relationship. And for me to say that I love this woman would be an understatement. I really did love this woman. But anything that I had that reminded me of her increased the hurt of her not being in my life. And the only way for me to be able to physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually move past that relationship was for me to sever the things physically that connected me to her emotionally. So I didn't do it to be cold as fuck. I did it for my own mental health, because I was in a really bad place when we broke up. So one day, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, I was sitting on my couch. I'm very rarely home, and every now and then I treat myself to be able to sit on my couch, turn on my projector, and watch a movie. Like, it's a rare treat for me. I don't let myself do it unless I've busted my ass that day and I said, okay, you deserve to relax. So usually I'll put on my projector, find a movie, and I have this 7-speaker surround system that I probably use twice a month. So I was about to sit down and watch a movie, and I looked at my entertainment stand and I saw the journal. And I didn't want to get rid of it because it was, one, it was beautiful, and two, it was a reminder of how she felt about me at that time. And three, it had not just memories of us together in the journal, but memories of my life and everything that I had been through and everything that I wanted to achieve, and of me being homeless and the steps that I was going to do to get out of being homeless, and how I got out of being homeless, and how I wanted to have a YouTube channel one day, and how I achieved having a YouTube channel. All the accomplishments that I wanted to achieve and all of the hardships that I had gone through were in that journal. And I just looked at it and I thought, not today. So then the next day I came home, looked at it, not today. Then one day, every morning I get up, do my gratitude, I go in the shower, shave, and I thank the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, for all of the great things that I have in my life. But this day I knew that I was going to burn this journal. And I was in the shower, and I tried to hold it in, but I couldn't. And I was just crying because it meant so much to me. This journal, this book meant so much to me. So I got out of the shower and I got dressed, and I have a barbecue grill on my back porch. And it's a big journal. It's probably about this big, this tall, about this wide. It was really big. And I opened the front cover, and inside the front cover I had written in gold ink the inscription from the book The Secret. And I read it. I didn't allow myself to read any of the other pages because I knew it would make it too hard for me to do what I needed to do. So I sat the book on the grill and I just started lighting it, and it finally just started burning. And I sat there and I watched it burn. And it was like watching years of my life go up in flames. And I sat on my porch and I just watched it burn, and I cried and I cried, and I let all the emotion go. Well, I was hoping that I would be alone. My neighbor came around. He's like, "Hey, what's up, Kay?" And of course, I'm in tears, but it's my dude, my dude next door. So I'm trying to like not let him see that I'm having a moment. So I'm like, "What's up, man?" And I kind of turn away from him. He's like, "What you burning? What you burning? You can burn it over here. You can burn it over here." And I didn't say anything because he has a fire pit. He's like, "You can burn it over here." And I didn't say anything. And I was trying to keep him from seeing what I was doing or what was happening to me. So I sat and I watched it burn, and I'm just like, the tears are running down my face. And him and his girlfriend are really good friends of mine, really good people. And so I think he caught wind of what was happening, and he didn't say anything. And a few minutes later, he came by and he put his arm around me. He said, "Keith, you're a good man." And I said, "I appreciate it, Kay." And I'm just crying. And we just sat there and watched this journal burn. He said, "I know this is hard for you, but I agree with what you're doing. It's necessary. You need to do this." And I said, "I know, Kay. I appreciate it, bro." And he gave me a hug. And I told him, I said, "Yeah, she made this book for me. This was the last thing that I had in my house that tied me to her." And he said, "I know." He said, "Before me and my girlfriend got together, I was in a 10-year relationship too, and I had to do the same thing." He said, "But you're a good dude. You're doing the right thing. I totally think what you're doing is necessary." And I said, "Thanks, bro." He said, "Do you write a lot?" And I said, "Yeah, I have literally about 10 years worth of memories in that book." And we just stood there and I just watched it burn. And I put the grill cover down. And that was that. He said, "Well, we're going to go." He said, "Me and Nat are going to sit here and have some beers and go to a bar and have a couple of drinks. You're welcome to join us." And I said, "No, I think I'm just going to go for a drive and clear my head." He said, "All right." He said, "Well, I'm here for you, bro." And I said, "I appreciate it." Well, about a week after that, I was coming home and he walks up to me with a huge smile on his face. And I said, "What are you grinning about, dude?" And he said, "Here." And he handed me this bag. And I opened the bag, and he had given me this. He got me a brand new journal with my name inscribed on the bottom, all leather, with a really great inscription on it. And the inscription said, "To step outside and reach within, to explore and to create, to inspire all to live intentionally and leave their mark." And yeah. And his girlfriend was like, she was like, you didn't know. And what was kind of funny was the night before he gave me this book, we were all hanging out and having a beer. And he's like, you are going to be so surprised. And I said, it's a journal, isn't it? And his girlfriend was like, no, why would he get you that? But that would have been a great gift, actually. And when he gave it to me, he said, you were actually right. But I didn't expect it to be this. And I know I kind of went into a story time. But to bring this back to Gail's comment, sometimes we do or say things and they're not for the person that we're talking to. They're for us. And sometimes writing things down or thinking about things is one thing, but sometimes actually verbalizing it and saying it is a completely different thing. You know how sometimes you can think something, but it doesn't have the same impact until you hear it out loud. When you say it, it's almost as if you're truly speaking that thought into existence. And so while I agree that they may not listen, sometimes it's very purging for the spirit to just say it. To just say, if this person was in front of me right now, what would you say to that person? And if you can imagine it strongly enough, that person doesn't have to be there, because you're going to feel the same feeling that you would feel if that person was there, and it's not for them. A lot of times you say things to people not because simply of them, it's because it's something that you have to get off of your chest. Just like when you tell somebody, I need to say this, I have to get this off my chest. It's not for them, it's for you. You have to say this to them because it's in your spirit. And if you don't say it, it's only going to make things worse for you. So you have to get it out. And that's why I said, or have this title. And to Gail's comment, it's not necessarily about them. It's about you. A lot of times, even in not only intimate relationships or relationships like even with us in the XJWs, but relationships with people in general, when something goes wrong and that person is no longer with us, we tend to put people on a pedestal, and we start to think, what can I do to make that person listen to me? What can I do to make that person understand how I'm feeling right now? And it's not about them. Putting someone on a pedestal and trying to make them understand how you feel is not the way to go. A lot of the times, you have to make sure that you understand how you feel. Because when we get in those positions, especially us as XJWs who have lost so much, we spend so much energy trying to make other people understand how we feel that I think it detracts from us actually being able to understand how we feel ourselves. And that's one thing that I was doing for months. I was chasing my mother and father, trying to make them understand how I felt. I was chasing my ex, trying to make her understand how I felt. I was chasing my ex-wife, not chasing her, but every time we talked, I would try to make her understand this is why this is happening, because I feel that none of that shit matters in the long run, because you can't make anybody feel anything. You can't make anybody feel anything. It is up to them whether or not they're going to feel a certain way toward someone. And it's the same way with us. No one can make us feel anything. We have to make a conscious decision to say, what that person said or did to me, I am going to allow it to make me feel this way. So it's not about them. It is about us. And once I came to the decision that I am no longer going to chase anyone, period. I'm no longer going to beg for someone to love me, for someone to understand how I feel, for someone to accept me as I am. I will no longer beg anyone for anything. If the person truly loves you, they will accept you, your faults and all, and say, that motherfucker gets on my nerves when he does this shit, but I love that motherfucker anyway. Or with a woman, she gets on my nerves when she does that shit, but goddamn, everything else she does is so fucking great that I'll put up with it. So, name withheld, thank you for the $5 donation. She says, and it might have a different outcome once you do say it than what you expected. It may. Name withheld says, you can make them understand, but just some people don't care about logic or who they hurt. If they truly understood, though, name withheld, they would care. And that's my point. Sometimes you can't make people understand. You can talk until you're blue in the face. They might hear you. They might empathize with you. They may sympathize for you. They may feel sorry for you. But if they truly understand, their behavior will change. Michelle M says, thank you for the $5 donation, Michelle. She says, I said what I had to say to my family, got it off my heart, felt so good once I verbalized it. Exactly. So last night, running from one story right into another story. But yeah, writing does help a lot. Last night I had a dream, and anybody that knows me knows that I pay a lot of attention to my dreams. And after I tell this story, we will open up the phone lines for anyone who wants to call in. 1111-007 says, don't expect any response or acknowledgement of your feelings or you'll leave hurt. That is so true. That is so true. Also, guys, if you could, when you come in, if you haven't already, please like the video. It'll help get more people out into our show. I appreciate it. But please give a brother a like. It's free. Tight Pants Tony paid for it when he bought all that liquor. So the likes are free. The likes are on Tony. And also, if you guys notice, the ticker has changed. My Venmo and Cash App are there. And while I appreciate you guys super chatting, I appreciate everything so much. YouTube takes a huge chunk of everything that you give. So I'm trying to get to a point where I can do this regularly, and really increase production value, interviews, people I talk to, things like that. So if super chatting is just super convenient for you, totally understand. If you have access to Venmo or Cash App, they are there on the ticker. Venmo is at Keith-Fitzpatrick-3, and the Cash App is $KFitz9665. I'll also have some Patreon only content, so if you want to join Patreon, that's fine too. I think our show that was about sex is gonna have to go all Patreon only, because we had people talking about everything on that show. That show was a little racy, but it was good. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for everything you guys do. I really appreciate you so much. I appreciate every dime, because you didn't have to do that, so I appreciate it. Before I get into this next story, let's look at the chat real quick. Aramis says, wow, they're still good people. That was really thoughtful. It really was. Gail Miller says, I understand that having nothing to remind you of that person, like no pictures. I have no pictures. Just said exactly what I would have said. Exactly. Miss Betty says, preach, brother. Thank you. 1111 says, nope, like explaining feelings to a judicial committee doesn't work. Exactly. King Dad says, I think the JWs are under mind control, and they are programmed to ignore anything that goes against the Watchtower or against their narratives. That is exactly true. And those of us who were in the organization can attest to that. I myself, if someone said something that was against the organization, I would immediately just turn my ears off and not even listen to it. Exclusive Princess says, word. Yep. 1111, don't expect any response or acknowledgement of your feelings or you'll leave hurt. Exactly. That is so true. You can't go in there with any expectations. It has to be about you and you only. Miss Bailey 2 says, JWs are under heavy control. They are. Thank you, Gypsy Lily. I appreciate that. So last night, the dream that I had that made me think of having this show, My Lifers, was a really weird dream. It came from left field to me. I woke up this morning thinking, where the hell did that come from? But last night, I dreamt that I went home. I was at home. I was younger, and I was in my parents' house. My mother was sitting at this table. Of course, you know how when dreams are had, the environment is very rarely exactly the same. Sometimes it's a little bit different. So the house was a little bit different, but we were sitting at this round table. My father came into the room, and he was super pissed that I had friends over the house. And he was screaming at the top of his voice. Now, my father, as I've said before, is a very big guy. And when I was growing up, I was always a little bit afraid of him, because when he got pissed, he just got really pissed. So I was always a little afraid of him, but never, afraid as if I thought he was going to, hurt me. I was just, that fear you have of your parents. But he was yelling, and I was on one side of the table and he was on the other side of the table. And he started coming around to the side of the table that I was on. And so I started walking away from him so that we were circling the table like this around each other. And he just kept screaming, and he was just so mad at me. He was saying so much, and he was just screaming and screaming, and he would try to get close to me, and I would walk around the other way. I just kept going away from him, and it felt like 10 minutes we were just circling this table while he was screaming and screaming and screaming. And then he grabbed this bottle and he threw the bottle at me, and I moved out of the way, and the bottle busted on the ground. Now, that was reminiscent of something that actually happened, because when I was still married to my ex, when I told her I didn't want to be married anymore, she burned my recording studio and all my clothes. And I left the house and I went and stayed with my parents. Well, my father got really mad that I left. And I said, well, I'm leaving because if I stay there, we're going to have a serious problem. And he got mad that I didn't want to go home. And he threw a book at me because I didn't want to go home that day. So coming back to the dream, he throws this bottle on me, toward me. The bottle bursts, shatters all over the ground. And I leave the house, right? As soon as I walk outside, I started floating. And I started flying. There were all these people outside. I start flying by them, and I'm just watching them, and I'm flying by these people, and I'm thinking, why aren't these people noticing that I'm flying right now? So I'm flying around all these people, and they're just going on with their lives. They're just walking by, and I'm flying. I'm flexing my Superman style. They're just walking by, not paying me any attention. So I go down and I turn, and there's this huge open space. There's nothing in front of me but blackness and these clouds. So I start flying forward. And I'm flying, and I'm just flying, and I'm like, yes, I'm flying. And then this person flies behind me and says, hey, Keith. And I stop, and this person comes next to me. And I don't know who this person is. But the person says, I bet you can't fly faster than me. So the person starts flying off. And in my dream, I'm thinking, there is nobody that can fly faster than me. So I literally just stopped, and I watched this person fly down this empty void for a while. And when he got far enough away, I said, all right, I'm going to catch him now. So I take off. I fly by him like in a second. And I just keep going, and I keep going, and I keep going, and I keep going. And I turn up, and I'm flying up, and I'm flying up, and I'm flying up. And I come to this whole new city. And when I land there, I'm thinking, how the hell is this city up here? And I'm looking around, and then I woke up. So I thought about this dream all day, and I'm thinking, what the hell did this dream mean? What the hell did this mean? So, of course, I woke up, repairing my studio, putting everything back to the way it was, and I'm thinking about this dream. And then I start thinking, maybe this dream is saying, once you finally let go of everything that your parents, the way that your parents have made you feel, the fear, the anger, everything that they have toward you that you are running away from. When I finally went outside of that house and I didn't look back, I was free. And when I flew away, when I got to a point where I was away from them, I was free and I could fly and I could actually do everything because I wasn't weighed down with the burden that I was allowing them to place on me. And I was able to actually fly to a whole new level and see a whole new life. So I thought, wow, if I could say one last thing to them, what would it be? What would I say? What would I say to them? What would I have in my heart that I felt that I needed to get off my chest to allow me to be able to do that in real life? And I know that there's something there because, as I've said before, the last time I talked to my father was me asking him to not allow my ex-wife to manipulate the family and to hold her accountable for her behavior and to not blame the situation on me ever again. And that I love you, but don't do that again. And I never got a response from him. And I've never heard from them since, my mother or my father. So now it's like, you're not going to get to say anything else to them that's going to garner a response. So what do you think, or what do you feel like you need to say to them to completely sever that connection on your end? Because they've done it on their end. Now, how will you do it on your end? How are you going to get closure in this situation? Asked. The phone lines are open. If someone wants to call and talk about the things that they feel like they would say, what would you say? What is the one thing that you feel that you need to get off of your chest for you to make you feel the way you need to feel? Give us a call. Drop us a line. 615-412-9335. Let's look at the chat. Let's see what's going on. Daniel Brown said that actually happened with me and my pops in real life, except the bottle part. Daniel said Fitz went Super Saiyan. Yeah, I was Super Saiyan. The Black Goku. No, I was Gogeta. They don't know about that Dragon Ball, man. Today Forever says that was your higher self talking to you to your taking you to your destiny of accepting the truth of who you were meant to be. Great. King Des, those were your spiritual powers. Gotcha. Definitely. Even when I was the deepest in that religion, I could never shun someone I cared about. That never felt right. Nikki T says, what symbol is that on your shirt, Fitz? It's an Ankh. The Ankh is the Kemet from Kemet. This was what Africa / Egypt was called before it was colonized. The Ankh is the symbol of immortality. This part of the Ankh represents the phallus or the penis. This part represents the womb of the woman, and where those two places meet, life emanates from that point. So that is what the Ankh stands for. So give us a call, guys. Let's help each other out. Let's talk about this thing. 615-412-9335. I know you guys get bashful when it comes to calling in for some reason, but it's all right, man. Call in. MKT said he definitely has something to tell, but MKT will always say that and then says, "Oh, I gotta go, guys. Sorry, catch you later." And I always get ready to hear what MKT has to say, and then he leaves. but I know somebody out there has a story to tell, something that they would like to share. But I can honestly say that if it were me, and I think I'm going to do this on a video, maybe later tonight, where I'm actually going to talk to them, because I know they may watch my videos. I don't know if they still do, but I'm going to record a video and send it to my mom's email so that she can see it. And they'll know how I feel about it. It's been a weird time here lately, but I have to say I have some good friends, man. My you know how we don't acknowledge holidays sometimes because we just don't think about it. But my friend Khalil gave me a call on Mother's Day, and I wasn't even thinking about it. He was like, "We watched the TV show American Gods." My friend Khalil is Anansi, because you guys think I have stories. Khalil has some stories. So we call him Anansi. Anansi is the African god, and he always has a story. So Khalil is Anansi. My other friend Roger we call him Mr. Wednesday. In the show, Mr. Wednesday is Odin, and Odin is the guy that controls everything. Well, Roger's a big dude. He's cool, but he controls a lot of stuff, so we call him Wednesday. And they call me Shadow. Shadow is a character on the show that's trying to find his way in the world. He's a good dude. He's just trying to find his way. So they all call me Shadow. So Khalil hit me up. He's like, "Shadow, what's up?" I said, "What's up, Anansi? How you doing, brother?" And he's like, "Look, I'll just hitting you up and checking on you. I know it's Mother's Day. I know how everything is going with you." And I was like, "Oh." And I honestly hadn't even thought about it until he said that. I was like, "No, I'm good, bro. Appreciate it. Thanks for hitting me up." And he was like, "All good, brother." He said, "We at the spot. If you want to come through, have a beer or whatever." And I was like, "Cool, I'll hit y'all up later." So, but it was weird after he said that. I started thinking about it. Before he said it, I wouldn't have even thought about it. And after he said it, I was like, man, I started thinking about it. And I thought, you know, what would be the last thing that I would say to them? And being able to do it via video, I can say whatever I need to say, not be interrupted. I don't have to worry about them saying something back to me that makes me feel like they're not listening. I can just say whatever I need to say. And I thought about it for a while. What would I say to them? And I think at its simplest form, it would probably be something like, you know, I'm glad that we had a few moments. We had a small time to reconnect. I enjoyed the time that we got together to talk. I'm glad that you guys are happy. Whether or not they're really happy, I don't know. I don't think they really are, but that's not for me to decide. You know what? I think it would be something to that effect, and then something more explaining how they have really been in a position where someone has manipulated them. And I don't mean the organization. I mean, like my ex. I would address that I will let them know that in my heart, I still love them. And that I'll always be there for them. I would like to always be there for them. But at the same time, I don't know if I can. You know, I've talked before about forgiving people, and I forgave them when we reconciled. Don't think I can forgive them again, especially after I explained to them why she did what she did. And then they continued to associate with her and disassociate from me. And while my message to them would have the words "I love you" in it at some point, I would have to call them out on their bullshit. I would have to let them know, look, I told you why she did what she did. She was jealous that I don't want to be with her anymore. And you didn't give me the opportunity to talk to you about it. You never asked me about it. And even though I forgave you, I'm not going to give you the opportunity to come back into my life just to hurt me again. I'm going to have to pull a George Bush on them. Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice. You can't fool me again. So there would be an "I love you" at the end, but there will also be, this is what you did, and this is why I can't have you in my life anymore. I cannot allow you to continue to hurt me and go away and feel okay while I am hurt behind it. So while I love you, I'm gonna have to. Nikki T said J. Cole. J. Cole got that shit from George Bush. that was George Bush being a dumbass, talking about them damn WMDs that day. But while I love them, I'm not gonna allow you to keep. My life is not a revolving door for people to. It's not a revolving door for people to come and take away things constantly instead of depositing something every now and then. Not down. Not down. You're not going to revolve your way in, take something, and then go back out and leave. No, that's not how friendships works, and that's not how parenting works. Oh no, I would never send them words. I would just make a YouTube video and send them the link. Because I think they're watching. I think they have watched or either are watching my YouTube channel. I don't want to send them any words. I would rather them see me and hear me. But I think I would tell them that they're missing out on a great relationship with their son. They only have one. I'm the only child. So they only have one. Them motherfuckers are gonna be old and sick one day. They already are. My father has prostate cancer. My mother has a tumor in her stomach, and they think my ex-wife is gonna be there for them all the time. But she ain't. She is not. She is not. She doesn't love them. And at that point, that will be it. I will wash my hands of the situation, which I pretty much already have. But I want to leave it. I want to leave it in finality with love. Even though my last, text to him was in love, I want this one to be completely unaccusatory and stating just fact after fact. My last message to my father, I think I've read this before, but I'll go ahead and read it again so you guys can hear exactly what I'm talking about. This is the last thing I said to my father. Because what happened, the last time I talked to my father was March 24th. Gail said, I've been so programmed in texting. I hated it before, but when you said call in, I noticed we all kind of freaked out. People don't like to talk anymore. It's all right. It's all right. My last message to my father was the last time I talked to him was March 24th. It's almost been 2 months now. And I said, hey, Dad, I talked to my aunt. She told me that you told her that the reason you don't see me is because Mom and I don't get along. Dad, that isn't true. The last time I talked to Mom was when we all sat and talked for hours, and we talked for days after, and it was all love. The reason you don't talk to me is because of what my ex-wife did, not me. She drove a wedge between us intentionally because I don't want to be with her. I cannot allow you to place the blame on me for something that she caused. I don't appreciate the fact that instead of placing the responsibility on her for her actions, that you chose to place it on me when I came to you both in love to mend our relationship. Please hold her accountable for her behavior. I love you both so much, but I can't allow you to place blame on me for her behavior. Please don't do that again. I love you and Mom very much, as I've said to you repeatedly, and I'm here for both of you. That was the last time I messaged him, and I haven't heard anything back since. Now, I think that message was sent in love, and it should have been received in love, although it was not. So at this point, all I can do is say, I extended the olive branch once again, and it was broken. So at this point, I have to say goodbye. I have to sever ties. I have to destroy memories. Fortunately for me, I only have one picture of me and my family, and it was the picture that I took when we reconnected about 3 or 4 months ago. Will I delete that one? I don't know. Maybe. Will I get it printed out and put in a picture frame? I have absolutely no pictures of anybody in my house. None. No pictures in my home. And it's really weird. That's a whole nother story. I might tell you guys that story one day. That is a very deep story. I got a lot of stories, but I thought about maybe printing it out and having a physical picture. And I haven't decided yet. I may just delete it. Today Forever says, my purge began February 2016. It was a staggered process. I completed it in June 2017. My therapist helped me through this process. The best money I ever spent. Still hurts. That's why I'm here. Yeah, it's tough today, forever. Therapy helped me a lot too. I went every week for a few months. I spent a lot of money on therapy. A lot. King Dead says either God has to wake someone up or they have to have a bad conflict with the elders. King Dead also says the Watchtower has already severed the ties. They are just robots of the Watchtower right now. Nothing you can do or say will change them. Exactly, and that's not the point. Is not to change them. The point is for me to be able to say everything I need to say for me. I don't want to change them. I don't want to have to change somebody for them to appreciate me. Because if it's that easy, did they really appreciate you in the first place? Again, it is for me. It's something that I need to say because I'm no longer willing to allow them to think that it's okay to treat me like that. The same way people say you teach people how to treat you. If I send them this loving message and they don't, they were unable to respond, but they're still hanging out with my ex, in my opinion, they just basically pissed in my face, which I know they are because afterwards, I found out that they were still associating with her and going to the meetings with her and all that stuff. That's great. That's great for them. But I'm not going to allow you. I'm no longer willing to allow them to just walk away and feel like, well, fuck him. I don't have to say anything to him. He'll be there. He loves us. We can throw him a bone one day. And that's not just in this relationship. That's in all relationships, especially when you have put people on a pedestal and you chase after their affection and you want them to be proud of you. You want them to be happy for you. You want them to love you. And you put them up here and you're later for that. I've done that. Okay. You don't want it. I send you a message that came all from love. You ignore me and continue to hang out with my ex. More power to you. Have a great time. But I'm going to have to say fuck you in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I'm going to have to say fuck you in some shape, form, in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I'm just going to have to say it. You know what? I love you, but fuck you for real. Because you're a piece of shit for doing that. You're a piece of shit for doing that. And I love you and I forgive you and all of that shit, but fuck you in the face for doing that. You're a piece of shit. I would never, ever, ever treat my daughter like that. No matter what she did, I would always be there for my daughter. There is no person on this planet or from some other dimension that could say something to me to make me treat my daughter the way my parents have treated me. And if I were to do that to my daughter and she would say, Daddy, fuck you in the face for treating me like that, I would totally deserve it. So while I love them and I appreciate that they had sex and he ejaculated in her womb and here my black ass came, I appreciate that happened. That was 44 years ago. 43 years ago, but give or take 9 months. We'll say 44 years ago. That was a long time ago. And now, for some reason, I think people think that you have to hold your parents in some high regard because they had sex one day. I hold people in high regard who do things that cause me to hold them in high regard. Busting a nut doesn't equal being held in high regard. So I'm not gonna hold you in high regard just because you got horny one day. No, that's not how this works. But see, your parents are just people, just like everybody else. They are just people. And while you make, well, I might give, you might give your parents a little bit more leeway than you give the average person. At a certain point, when I'm an adult and they're adults, it kind of gets to this thing where, okay, I'm grown and you're grown. Now you are judged the same way I'm going to judge everybody else. Now I know you took care of me for a long time. That's great. And I appreciate the hell out of you for that. But if you start fucking up, I'm going to start demoting you in the high regard status. And at this point, I have no regard for you. And I am judging you on the same basis that I judge any other adult. If there was any other motherfucker that was doing something crazy to me, I would be thinking, fuck them in the face. I don't need to speak to them. And that's where I am with them now. I have to just let them know I know what you're doing. And I know you know what you're doing. And I know we both know that it's some bullshit. And I told you I was here for you if you needed me. But now I'm withdrawing that. I am no longer here for you. You are on your own. And it is because you have chosen to be on your own. I do not need you in my life anymore. I love you. I wish you all the best with your cancer, and my mom with her made up tumor in her stomach. And maybe it is real. I don't know. Who knows? $1111-007 says, do we give them a pass because they think they are doing the right thing? They don't know. 1111, that is a very, very interesting question. I think we have touched on that before. And sometimes you have to think, okay, these people think they are doing the right thing. They think they are doing the right thing because this is what God wants them to do. And they are doing what God wants them to do. And right after I forgave them the first time, I said, you know what? I'm going to forgive them because they are doing what they feel like they have to do because this is what God wants them to do. And I really did believe that. I honestly was saying that to myself. I said, they are doing what they feel is the right thing so that they can have everlasting life in God's new order. And they can, have a panda and a tiger and drink liquor with Tony and cut up tight pants. And, laugh at people who masturbate and, sweep up all the dead bodies from Armageddon and have therapy for seeing guts and burning bodies and dead babies and all that stuff. But then I thought, people are real holy when real shit is not happening. And I always wonder, all these people that uphold all these stories, if God were to come to you right now, or let's just say you were to hear this booming voice right now, and that voice said, I want you to take your child, put them on their bed, tie them to that bed, and take the biggest knife you have in your kitchen and run it through their heart until they are no longer alive. How many people would really do that? How many people would really, really do that? Or if they were to hear this booming voice from the sky and that voice said, I'm going to let my boy completely fuck your whole life up. I'm going to let him kill your family, all your kids. I'm going to let him kill all your kids. And I want you to let me let him do that. But I'll give you some even cuter kids if you let me do that. Or if these same people, like our family members, heard a voice saying, there's going to be two angels that's going to come see you. Now, I know you got some hot virgin daughters in there, but I'm going to need you to offer them virgin daughters up to this gang of men that are horny as hell. And I need you to let them gangbang your daughters. People are real holy until some real shit happens. And I wonder, if these things that they uphold, if they were to actually happen the way it happened in the book that they hold so dear, would they actually be able to live by those things? And I don't think they really can. I think a lot of it is, while I do believe that they are, programmed, a lot of it is out of convenience because they don't have to deal with shit like that. They don't have to deal with shit like that. But they hold those stories in such high regard. I wonder how many people would really, really be willing to, in this day and time, do those types of things. And I know we have, experiences of people sacrificing their kids basically by not allowing them to have blood transfusions and things like that. But I wonder if these same people that shun us, once if they were really, really faced with a life or death situation, would it matter so much in that moment? If it was a situation where they had just been hit by a bus and they were about to die, and the only person that could save them was their son or daughter who they had been shunning, would they, in their dying breath, be like, oh, fuck him, I guess I'm gonna die because I ain't talking to that motherfucker? Who knows? But my point is, I'm not giving them the opportunity. See, I tried that forgiveness shit. I paid about $2,100 for that forgiveness shit. Forgiveness costs $2,100. Forgiveness is expensive as hell. Not only did forgiveness cost me about $2,100, it also cost me my emotional stability. It cost me about 20 pounds because I got so damn depressed after they went back and started hating me again after they had forgiven me. Forgiveness costs a lot. Forgiveness is high as hell. And I don't have no more money for forgiveness. For them, anyway. I have made my final withdrawal from the bank of forgiveness to write a check to Curtis and Angela Fitzpatrick. Their account is closed. In the bank of forgiveness from Keith Fitzpatrick, their account is null and void. But I guess it took me actually withdrawing that money and giving it to them to appreciate what I had in the bank. And what I had in the bank before I gave it to them, and some may see it as a bad thing, it was the wall that I had built up to protect myself from shit like that. Now, while that wall did interfere with some other things, it's like Anansi says on the show American Gods, anger gets shit done. And regardless of whether or not that anger was healthy, I was able to get a lot of shit done simply on the basis of the anger that I felt toward them and everyone who had shunned me. I was able to say, okay, you guys are shunning me. Let me show you how great I am. And in the face of all of that, there were a lot of people who always asked me, how are you able to do the things that you do with everything that you've been through? And there are people who have been through a lot worse than me, but you know, everyone's struggle is everyone's struggle. But having forgiven them now and having to deal with the hurt all over again, I understand why I did what I did. I don't know if building those walls the way I had them built or as high as I had them was the right thing to do, but I understand why I did it. I understand why I did it. 1111-007 says, forgive yourself and love them unconditionally from a distance. That's what I'm working on. I'm not there yet, though. You know what? Unconditional love is some bullshit. There is no such thing as unconditional love, and I just really believe that. I don't believe that there is a such thing as unconditional love from human to human. I don't believe that. I think love inherently comes with conditions. Because how many of us have been in love and are not in love anymore because of a condition that was crossed or a condition that was not met? Like, you love somebody unconditionally until they fuck up one of the conditions. You can't love somebody unconditionally because you're just setting yourself up. You'd be a doormat. You have to say, okay, I love you, but you can't do this, and you can't do this, and you can't do this. If you don't do them three things, I'll love you unconditionally. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. But none of us, 1111 says, but what about how we love our children? Now I think that may be the one caveat. I think that may be the one caveat. But even then, it's weird because I mean, I would say that would probably be the one caveat for your children. That might be the one caveat. King Dead says, yeah, love always has some conditions. There just shouldn't be a ton of conditions. Yeah, I agree. There can't be a ton of conditions, but I guess inherently there has to be some. Because you might love somebody unconditionally and then you find out they fucking somebody else. That unconditional love is going to fly out the damn window. Nikki T says, next show, Unconditional Love is Real. Nikki T, I've already had that show. It's on the channel. It is on my channel. Unconditional Love, is it real? Let me see if I can find that. I know it's on my channel. It is there. Hold on. I'll put a link to it in the spam real quick. Yep, there it is. Hold on. Yep, I sure did. That is it. That is it. It was an interesting conversation. So, I guess to leave this one, I would ask, how many of us think that there is something that we need to say to our parents or say for ourselves to our parents? The same way writing things in a journal is like saying something. But how many of us have really verbalized the thing that we feel that we need to say to anybody who has shunned us? And there are times I spend a lot of time over the last few years. I have spent a lot of time by myself. Even when I was in my relationship with my girlfriend, I didn't get to see her very often. And so I was by myself a lot of the time, especially when I was homeless. We were still together, but, I was in a car most of the time. And so I had so much time by myself to just think and have these conversations in my car and scream in my car what I was thinking to them and what I would say to them, and I would just have these involved conversations, and it was almost as if I was really talking to them. And I would get angry and I would get sad, and I would be going through all these emotions. And sometimes I wonder, is this healthy? Should I be doing this? Should I be having these imaginary conversations? This might not be a good thing. I might be losing it a little bit. But I think it was good, because when I actually had a conversation with them, it was almost as if I'd already gotten much of that shit out. So I was able to just have a conversation and not really get too crazy with what I was saying to them. But now I feel like it's necessary for me to say what I need to say to them, whether they respond or not. I don't expect a response. I don't expect a response at all. In my heart, I know they will read it, or I know they will watch it, because they're going to be too curious not to. They are programmed for sure, but they are too curious not to. And I know they are, because anytime I've said anything that has gotten back to them, they always, for some reason, ask my ex, why did he do this? Why did he say this? They are too, they are programmed, but they're too curious to know what's going on with me to not see what I have to say. And when I did see them, they were surprised that I was in such good health, that I was doing so well. They expected me to be a failure. They expected me to be in some horrible state. And when they saw me and I wasn't, you know, they kept saying, I can't believe, you know, you look like you're doing really well. You look like you're doing really well. And I said, I am. Why are you surprised? I don't know. You seem like you're in good shape. You're taking care of yourself. I'm surprised. You look like you're really doing well. Yeah, I am doing well. With or without you, I'm doing well. I'm always going to do well. Today Forever says, the last time one of my relatives that shunned me called me was to tell me that my son's grandma died. It was my niece. I literally answered the phone with, why the hell are you calling me? Oh man, why the hell are you calling me? That's when you give them, what? Why the hell are you calling me? Oh man, that's funny. But 1111 says, I would like to hold a judicial committee with the elders where they aren't allowed to talk, just listen at the Kingdom Hall. I want to get on stage and say some things to them, then slap them and walk out. I feel better after that. Well, shit, what you waiting for? You know exactly where the Kingdom Hall is. You know exactly what time they're gonna be there. Go and walk your black ass in there and do it. I'll hold the door open for you, and then we can hurry up and get the hell out of there before the police come. Hell, I'll slap one of them. I'll slap them right after you slap them on the other side. You slap him, I'll say, yeah, slap. Slap him, 11. Yeah, let's go. Get the dog, Nick. Get the dog. Oh man, how many of y'all have thought about all the horrible things you want to do to a Kingdom Hall, but then thought better, but still kind of want to do it? Man, I've wanted to blow up a Kingdom Hall so many times. I've just driven by a Kingdom Hall. I'm like, man, I wish I had some damn dynamite. I'd blow that motherfucker all the way up. Where the damn dynamite store at? The hell you buy dynamite? Yeah, I need about 3 sticks of dynamite. Excuse me, sir. What exactly do you need the dynamite for? Huh? That's that guilty answer when somebody asks you something and you're gonna do something bad with it. Huh? Huh? Say, huh? Sir, what exactly do you need the dynamite for? Oh, I just want to do some experiments, on explosions. I'm trying to, see the radius of an explosion if it was placed in the vicinity of, a Kingdom Hall. I just wanted to see, what the radius of destruction would be if I, detonated some dynamite. Just 3 sticks. I'm not trying to blow it all the way up. I just go and give me the 3 sticks, bro. Don't. I can't get the dynamite? No, sir. No, sir. You cannot have the dynamite. What the hell? What the hell are you selling it for then? But to make a long story short, I'm gonna have to tell them niggas, I'm trying to stop saying that on my live streams. I'm sorry, y'all. I just get a little wound up sometimes. Um, make a long story short, I'm gonna have to tell them. Today Forever says, I once dreamed that I had a gospel choir and we would go to different kingdom halls and sing outside them. Gypsy says, I just hate how this religion ruins so much of our lives. So much time wasted. Wendy Silly said, Keith, them elders is going to call you to let you know your parents need you. You are now awake, so be prepared to show some real love. And you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say the same thing Today Forever said. Why the hell are you calling me? That's exactly how I'm gonna remember that one Today Forever. Why the hell are you calling me? Brother dumbass, why are you calling me? You and sister asshole, y'all can gather your belongings, turn around, and leave from in front of my face. And take your little hating ass kid and his little punk ass sister with him. King Dad says, I agree, Gypsy. Feels like 23 years of my life were wasted. Yeah, we all wasted some time in that place. We wasted some time in that place. We can't, we can't pull an Avengers. We can't pull an Endgame and go back in time. Unfortunately. But we are here now. We are still here. We are still here. I don't know if I could be there for them. That would be really, guys, I've grown a lot over the time I've been on this channel. I have grown a lot, but I'm still kind of petty. I'm still kind of petty. And I rose above my pettiness one time when I went to see them, and we quote unquote mended our relationship. And my mom was sitting there telling me all this bullshit about how they just wanted me to have great experiences in my life, and they never had a problem with me, and they love me, and we just want you to have experiences, and we want you to be able to look back on. We may not have a lot of money, but we want you to have experiences. And I'm looking at her like, in my mind, I'm thinking, what in the whole fuck are you talking about? You are so full of shit right now. But since I'm trying to mend this relationship, I'm gonna go ahead and continue to stand in this ankle deep bullshit that you shoveling right now, and I'm gonna let you piss on my leg and tell me it's raining for the sake of this relationship. But see, there's no more shit on the ground, and it's dry outside now. So I'm gonna have to let that bullshit go, and I'm gonna have to take my damn pants to the cleaners and get that piss out of them, and I'm gonna have to tell them that I love you, but you guys are full of shit right now, and you can allow the Jehovah's Witnesses to take care of you in the event of your untimely sickness, or in the event of your untimely death. You can allow the Jehovah's Witnesses to come and pay for it. And if you go to sleep and wake up dead, they're gonna have to be the ones that take care of everything, because I tried to be there for you, and you You shunned me for them. So since they are so important, go on, let them handle your bullshit. Go on, let them take care of everything. They got it. They got it. Today Forever says, Keith, one of my other nieces just told me that my niece could not stop crying when I answered her like that. She was so butthurt. No fucks to give. You start the shit now. Now standing in it. Agreed. Alicia Schaefer says, I don't know, Keith. When the situation is presented to you, we tend to react differently than what we said we would do. If my JW daughter knocked now, we'd embrace her. You know what, Alicia? I think it's different. I would say for me, it would be different for my daughter. And that's why I hold my parents to such a high standard, because that's the same way you feel about your daughter. There should be nothing that stops that. There should be nothing that stops that. And just as you said, if your JW daughter knocked right now, you would embrace her because that's your daughter. And no matter what, you would embrace your daughter. Now, for my parents to say, if Keith ever needed me, I wouldn't embrace him because he's not a Jehovah's Witness. See, they're not showing me the same love that I would show my daughter. And on top of that, I've presented myself to them 5 times. This last time when I tried to mend my relationship with them is when I found out my father had prostate cancer, and when I found out my mother supposedly has some kind of tumor in her stomach as well. And when I found that out, I literally cried in my car for about 10 minutes. And I mean, this was not just me, being sad. I was crying to the point where I literally couldn't even catch my breath because I was so sad that I lost all that time with my parents. And I'm thinking they could have been dead, and I lost all this time because I didn't want to reach out to them. And it hurt me so badly that I thought I never want to do anything to feel this way again. And I'm so glad that I reached out to them. And even in the midst of that, and me telling them, hey, I always want to be here for you because I love you and I don't want you to get sick and not have me here to help you. And even in the event of me saying that, they were still able to say, we don't want you. We know we're sick. I got cancer. She's got tumor. We know that. We know we're sick. We know you want to be there to help us, but we don't want you. We would much rather deal with your ex-wife that's still a Jehovah's Witness. After some shit, it's like, okay. You're showing me who you really are. You're showing me who you really are. And who you really are is some bullshit. And as much as I love you because we are bonded by DNA, I can't allow you to continue to trample on my spirit. Our DNA is one thing, but man, my spirit, I'm just going to let you trample on my soul, on my spirit. No, I can't do that. (1111) says they don't mean that. They don't mean what exactly? 1111. And Alicia says, and I say this in spite of her turning us into the elders, blocking us from all her social media, no contact for 4 years. We just found out from other people that they have a new baby. See, that's your love. That's your love for her. Now that is your unconditional love. You know what I mean? Because that's your kid. It's your daughter, man. You don't do stuff like that to people. That's your daughter, man. And in spite of that, you are still ready to forgive and be there. And I hate that you're going through that. But I'm sure, we all, this is one of the rare conditions where someone or all of us can say, we know how you feel, and we mean it because we've been there too. If you today forever says, if you can't make them hours for them, they will give you the Eskimo death, put you on a barge and float you out to sea. Yeah, King Dad, stuff like that is just cruel. Can't fully blame the religion for that at least. See, that's the thing. What King Dad said was the same argument I made before I went and forgave them. How much of that can you blame on the religion? How much of that? At what point do you say, okay, you guys have been here longer than me. You guys have been alive longer than me. You should know better. You should know better. And as an adult, at what point do you stop saying, oh, it's the religion? And at what point do you say, I'm holding you responsible for making those choices? Alicia says you have to forgive or it will just eat you up. Therapist was a lifesaver. Alicia, I went to a therapist. The therapist told me the same thing, and I actually forgave them, and I went and mended the relationship with them, and now we are where we are now. So I forgive them, but I'm no longer going to tolerate any more bullshit. I think there is a difference between being forgiving and being naive. There is a difference between being forgiving and being naive. And at some point, I don't think you can allow forgiveness to turn you into a doormat. Forgiveness should be a doorway, not a doormat. And that is my issue with forgiveness sometimes. Forgiveness should be a doorway for you to walk into something better. It shouldn't be a doormat for people to walk over you while they're going on to something better. That's what I don't like about forgiveness. So I think forgiveness should simply be a way for you to open a closed door in your life so that you can walk through it and either walk away from and to a better place. I'm not going to allow forgiveness to be a doormat for somebody else to walk over me while they're going to their better place and I'm sitting here with footprints on my damn face. Not happening. Not happening. I am done. I am done. All right. Well, I have some work to do tomorrow. I'm going to be dancing in some video for some lady, some artist. I'm not sure who it is yet. They wouldn't tell me who it is. Nikki T says you need to write a book or several books. I would like to write a book. Today forever, I really like that statement. At first, I blamed it on the religion. That gave me a comfort zone. Now I know better. We all have free will. They chose to be guided by infallible men. Agreed. Agreed. So good talk, guys. I've enjoyed talking to you guys. Even though you guys are still antsy about calling in, that's all right. I love y'all anyway. Everybody's not like me. I'm just an open book. I'm just ready to share everything. I'm like, if you ask, I'm gonna tell you. I don't have a problem with it. I do not have a problem talking about things that have happened in my life. As long as I'm not putting someone else's name out there and putting them on blast, I will tell you. But yeah, I have to dance with some chick tomorrow. I'm not sure who it is. I think she started following me on Instagram, but the label wouldn't tell me exactly who she is. So I'm gonna be doing that tomorrow. So I probably need to get off here and get some rest, so I can be all awesome tomorrow when I'm jumping around. Today Forever asked what you got going on with the meetup, and we talked about that earlier today Forever, but yeah, we can go ahead and talk about it again. I've been looking at places, and I have a couple of places that I think are going to work. One of them is a place that actually hosted a memorial when I was little, and it's a nice place. It's a nice auditorium. No, not Beyonce. I actually did book a tour with Beyonce, but she wanted the dudes to dance, or either her or her choreographer. There was something that was going to happen that was going to be kind of effeminate, and I said, yeah, I can't do that, bro. I can't dance like a girl. I dance to get girls, not dance like a girl. So I had to turn that gig down. But it's one place that is a nice auditorium. They have a nice stage, and so I kind of want it to be a place where the people who are speaking are able to be, seen and heard very well. But I kind of want a place where it's not necessarily people and then a stage where people are far away. I would like it to be something in a round where we're close to the people who are actually discussing things, so we can have a very intimate feeling conversation. So I've narrowed it down to about 3 places, and some of I don't know if you guys know about Nashville, but Nashville has gotten very expensive because everyone is coming here. So everything is hella expensive in Nashville. So I'm trying to find a place that, 1, will accommodate what I'm trying to do, and 2, is not going to be crazy expensive, and 3, will still be fun, a place that we can have some fun in. You know what I mean? So I think I've got it down to 2 or 3 places, but I'm waiting to hear back on rates. So as soon as I hear back on something like that, I'll let everybody know. I'll post it in the community tab, or I'll either have a live stream about it, one of the 2 things. So it's going well. So hopefully we'll have that done soon. All right. So guys, I'm not sure. Let's see. Tomorrow is Wednesday. I think the shoot is at 1, so I'll be done, and I'm not teaching on Wednesday nights right now. So I will have a show tomorrow. I'll think about what that topic is going to be. Let me look on the board and see what I have. Yeah, I'm gonna come up with something new. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for dropping in. It's been a cool conversation. The chat is always fire on this show. I appreciate you guys for always being here in the chat. Always keep it going. So I will see you all today. Forever says, man, I'm coming for the family cookout. I know, right? I'm trying to get my aunt to cook, man. I'm trying to get my aunt to cook. If I could get like maybe a count of people who are, once I get everything secured, a list of the number of people who possibly are intending to come, that would probably help me be able to secure or get my aunt to cook. So we'll see. Yeah, lodging is going to be a thing too, because everything is high, and I'm hoping that there's not something crazy going on there, or else everybody's going to end up at the damn Motel 2. You're going to be at the damn everybody having sex in here in. You know, excuse me, can I get a sheet that is not cummed up, please? Do you have any? Where's the non-cum section? Like, man, we don't have a non-cum section. The hotel is a cum section. I'm sorry. Did you come here looking for sheets that were not covered in cum? You came to the wrong place. Anyway, we'll try to find some. That's the one thing I talk to the people that come in from out of town when I do Uber. Everyone talks about how expensive the hotels are here. So it has to be a time too where there isn't much going on. Or else we're gonna be in some really dinky places. I'm trying to see who this is outside my window. You know, I know that's right. King Dad says bring your own sheets. That's right. You know, I have stalkers, you know, people out here crazy. Got all these crazy stalkers, all these crazy exes and shit. People are sitting outside my door and stuff. But anyway, guys, I will definitely update everyone tomorrow, or if not tomorrow, it won't be tomorrow because I'm going to be at that shoot. So it'll probably be Thursday or Friday. So I'm thinking of just doing a Friday stream. So I think I'll just go ahead and do a stream every day. And yeah, guys, again, thank you so much for joining the show. It's been a blast as always. And maybe tomorrow I can have a topic where everyone is not so afraid to call in. We had gotten to a point where people were really calling in, and then y'all got scared again. But it's all right. We got to get there, guys. It's fine. It's fine. I love you guys so much. Thank you for the support. Thank you for always coming through. And I will see you all tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Thank you so much. See you soon, guys. Peace.